isn't with us. This is the first of 5 races that Murray is missing in his farewell season. So alongside Martin Brundle in the commentary box, a special welcome to James Allen.
That Michael was the favourite today. That's certainly the way that most of us here in Sao Paulo at Interlagos in the paddock feel. This race should be Michael's unless he has some kind of problem, but it really is very, very close indeed, and you can see on the grid just how close it was in qualifying between P2 and P6 in particular. But look, the 2 Jordans are very close as well, and then we have the Saubers going very strongly as well in the top 10.
I mean, this is the day job. Looks like there's a problem down there for the Jaguar crew as well, and we are now just 10 seconds away from the green light, so that will automatically be a penalty for whichever Jaguar that was. I suspect it was Bertie's car.
I was interested to hear that, very interested to hear from Mika Hakkinen that he thought it was going to rain today. Certainly at the moment, looking out across the racetrack, we've got the city of Sao Paulo, 3rd biggest city in the world, the largest city in South America, bathed in shade. We're in the sunshine here. There are some clouds in the distance, and we're getting word from the pit lane that indeed Eddie Irvine is being investigated by the race stewards. So the mechanic's not leaving the grid quite on time, and Irvine, he didn't really need any more problems, but he's got some. Ready, 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 go! Great start by Schumacher. Hakkinen stalled. Everyone goes around the back of him, and Hakkinen has stalled from P3. Schumacher leads into the first corner. Great start by Montoya as well, and Ralph and David Coulthard too. So those front 5 and Hakkinen still on the grid.
Safety car, they'll have to put the safety car out, I believe, unless they can move that very, very quickly. They will put the safety car on. That is a walled part of the track. There's nowhere that you can get that car off easily, and as you see, Montoya up to 2nd and Coulthard a flying start, truly is 4th. Ralph Schumacher fallen off the front row back down to 5th, and look, the car is still on the grid. They will have to put the safety car out very, very quickly. They need those double yellows waving. And
safety car is standing by, we're told, but no sign of it yet on the racetrack. What a cracking start though by Juan Montoya in the Williams. Ralph Schumacher has dropped down to 5th place, and look at Michael streaking away. David Coulthard looking very racy in 3rd place. Jarno Trulli got away well.
Safety car deployed. Safety car deployed.
The McLaren now has been pushed off the racetrack, and safety car will be coming straight in, so it's going to be green flag more or less straight away. You can see the lights will go out on the safety car, and we'll be racing again. And watch Montoya.
There he is waving his arms already. It was probably too late for the start to be aborted, and nobody even touched that McLaren, and that is a miracle. That on the start or at the end of the first lap, that could have been a mother and father of a shunt. The yellow flag is waving. You can see the other side of the blue bridge there, but it was too late. Once that computer procedure started, and it's really in the final throes of getting the cars away, it cannot be stopped.
But we're racing again here at Interlagos. Michael Schumacher leading the way as they come up the long hill to cross the start-finish line. And look at Juan Montoya, he's looking very racy indeed. Already trying to charge down the inside of Michael Schumacher. This is what we were promised when Montoya came into Formula 1. A feisty, aggressive racer, and we've got it. Montoya leads at Interlagos. Michael Schumacher 2nd, David Coulthard 3rd. Fantastic.
Well, there's a warning shot, isn't there, already for Michael Schumacher. Montoya is well known to be very good and very aggressive in traffic. Oh, and that's Barrichello. That's finished his afternoon off, hasn't it?
And he's hit Ralph Schumacher up the back. Rubens Barrichello trying to be a bit too aggressive into late descent, and what a dramatic start to this Brazilian Grand Prix. Unbelievable incident from start to finish. Rubens' race car, of course, packed up on the formation lap. Take us through it, Martin.
Yeah, well, look, Barrichello steaming in very late behind and just missed his braking point, really. Ralph quite cautious. That's the 2nd time this year that somebody has run into the back of Ralph. We saw it, of course, we saw it with Villeneuve in Melbourne, and it just seems as if Barrichello was unsighted. Ralph there having to watch the Jordan, the rear wing go, so Ralph is out of the race. That's a 1-hour job to fix that at least.
How does he pass this mercurial 25-year-old Colombian, the man who came over from America, and absolutely extraordinary performance already. Whatever happens now, there's a good chance of points today for Montoya. It's not just about going for glory. He can really make his mark on Formula 1 today. Hakkinen out, Rubens out, and his teammate Ralph Schumacher out. So
this is Villeneuve shaping up Frentzen, and that's 6th. Back to 5th. We've just lost those pictures.
He's going for 5th place, I think, and he looks like he's made it, but Frentzen fighting back as well, and Frentzen retains that 5th place.
this is another replay then of this time. This was Panis taking position from Frenton. That's quite a lot earlier on in the race, actually. So Panis has been in 5th for some time now. In fact, that's Panis taking Trulli, I'm sorry. Panis then passing Trulli for 4th place. Panis, I'm sure, on a 2-stopper.
Yeah, we saw him this morning going very quickly in the warm-up, Olivier Panis. He was in 7th place, looking very strong indeed. And it seemed clear to me he was running with a lightish fuel load. So he's obviously trying to make up places. You can do that here in Brazil. You can attack. And he's up into 5th place at the moment. We're on lap 20 at the moment. He's going to have to stop. If he is on a 2-stop strategy, he's going to have to make a stop sometime in the next 3 to 5 laps. And that will drop him down to somewhere around 13th or 14th. Still an awful lot to play. We're also waiting to see exactly what Montoya's going to do as he sets a new fastest lap in a 1:17.132. What's Michael going to do? What's his strategy going to be? At the moment, it's even Stevens at the front. Montoya, Schumacher, Coulthard, lap 21. Schumacher
Michael
is coming
Schumacher in the pit he then clearly is on a 2-stopper too, so Montoya then has more fuel on board than Schumacher.
Possibly, or this may be a tactic by Ross Brawn to just try and do something different. How long is the fuel hose on for? 9.6 seconds. Interesting. Well, very interesting. That's pretty much a 2-stop strategy. It looks to me as though that is what Michael had in mind. And last year he did it. He stopped a little earlier last year. It was lap 20, but of course he made that mercurial start and was definitely keen to put as much space between himself and the McLarens as he could. This year he's unexpectedly found himself behind a Williams BMW. He might have in the back of his mind thought it could be his brother, but it's not his brother. It's Juan Montoya who was in front of him, and Montoya looking quite strong. How much fuel is in this Williams BMW car? That is the $10 million question here in Interlagos this afternoon, as we see Gaston Mazzacani in the second of the 2 Pros coming in for his first scheduled fuel stop.
Montoya then with a 2.9 second lead now over David Coulthard. We'll have to see where Michael Schumacher comes out. He'll be in the pack somewhere, no doubt about it. That's a reasonably long fuel that's going to be quite a long middle stint, I'd imagine. And Williams then shaping up to lap the Jaguar, and Montoya lapping the Jaguar then of Eddie Irvine.
So Juan Montoya leading, and we're just taking a look at a replay as Villeneuve in 11th place gets it a little bit wrong and takes to the grass, having a miserable weekend this weekend. Jacques Villeneuve, 97 Formula 1 world champion, won here that year at Interlagos on his way to the World Championship. But this year he really has been outpaced by his teammate Olivier Panis, who's been threatening to get on terms with Villeneuve, but this has been the race where he's done it.
Yeah, Panis has been a match for Villeneuve, no doubt about it, and we saw that kind of pace from Panis when he was test driver for McLaren last year, but wondered if it would retranslate back into Grand Prix, and it certainly has done so. But Villeneuve, the reason he's down in 11th place is he had an early pit stop for what looked like a puncture.
For the second Grand Prix in succession, we're heading towards some uncertain times and some uncertain weather. And who is it going to play out for? Is it going to play out for Montoya, Coulthard, or Michael Schumacher?
That's
as we
Kimi
look at the Sauber, Kimi Räikkönen.
Yeah, Räikkönen in the pits from 8th place. Another very solid drive from him. Seemed to be an awful long time getting away there, and clearly a one-stopper. That's about right for the amount of fuel to go in, but seemed to be late getting away.
But he was on slicks, Martin. Did you see that? He noticed he was on the slick tyre, which is very brave. Well, he couldn't do anything else at this time. There's no water on the track.
No option, James. Wet tyres on that track, and you'll be 2 or 3 laps. Oh, and
whoa,
that's...
it's Montoya! Montoya's out of the motor race! Unbelievable! He's been rammed from behind by one of the back markers. It's the Arrows. It's absolutely incredible. It's Jos Verstappen has taken Juan Montoya out of this motor race. I think it's Montoya, is it?
Yes, it is.
Oh my good Lord! What drama here in Sao Paulo. In front of us, they're almost crying. The big Colombian man when he catches up with you.
And that was a nasty incident. It's lucky the Arrows didn't fly and start rolling over there. Luckily the wheel ties keeping his wheel in place there, and let's watch it. He moves out of the way for Montoya, lets Montoya through, and then just runs straight into the back of him, almost like he got sucked into the braking zone and just misread the whole situation.
Can he get out in front of Michael Schumacher, who at the end of this lap is 30.3 seconds behind him, and that is almost exactly what you need to make one stop. It's going to be very, very close. A lot of fuel got to go in. 9.8, is he going to do it? Down the pit straight, we're looking for Michael Schumacher. Here comes Schumacher, and Schumacher is... No, he's not going to do it. But it looks like Coulthard's going to retain the lead.
It's a very slow pit exit. I think Coulthard should just stay ahead. He should have 2 or 3 seconds in hand. There he is, yes. He's got to build up to speed. You run around the inside of turn 3 here. And now David up to speed, and Michael will just pop out behind him, just working out. But of course, Coulthard, if it doesn't rain, Coulthard does not have to stop again in this race. Michael Schumacher, we're pretty sure, has.
That's your race leader, David Coulthard, but it's raining quite hard now here in Brazil, and he's going to have to make a pit stop because he is losing a lot of time.
And this is Michael coming in 1 lap earlier than Coulthard. This is played beautifully into the hands of Schumacher and Ferrari, and Coulthard must have lost a half a minute by tiptoeing round on the wrong tyres. Intermediate's going on. Intermediate is the right tyre this time. I have no idea why Coulthard waited 1 more lap to come in. It's going to cost him a Grand Prix. It's cost him something around 20 seconds. He had a 3-second advantage over Michael Schumacher, but of course Schumacher had to pit again anyway for fuel, so now he's got the fuel, he's got the right tyres, and Coulthard stayed out a lap too long, and it's blown it.
And was it a decision of the teams? Was it a decision of the driver? I looked out of the commentary box window. There was no sign of the mechanics out there when the Ferrari mechanics, the BAR and Jordan guys were all out there. Some teams actually queued the 2 cars together. We had Trulli sitting behind Frentzen. We had Villeneuve sitting ahead of Panis, who's lost time in all of this. But the man who's lost the most, Michael spun it! Michael Schumacher, has he kept the clutch in? Yes, he has. He's got away with it. He gets away with it so often, Michael Schumacher. And he's got away with it again here in Brazil today. He keeps the lead of the motor race.
And there's Coulthard, look, second place man Coulthard coming up behind him. We don't know yet exactly what tyres that Coulthard put on. Michael's struggling.
Michael's on intermediates. We saw Michael on intermediates for sure.
Michael,
I think I saw Coulthard on intermediates as well, but look at that.
Yeah, but that was on touching the white line. That's why he went off. It's not the volume of water there that spun Michael. It was the white line. He hooked the rear tyre up on the white line coming out of 4, and Coulthard then should be just behind him.
We're just getting word from Ted in the pits that Coulthard is in fact on intermediate tyres as well, so it's even Stevens. They're both using the same tyre. 18 laps to go here in this amazing 2001 Brazilian Grand Prix. They call Michael Schumacher the Rainmeister, but at the moment he's struggling.
And this is turn 6, Ferradura. Michael getting in too deep, bouncing across the gravel trap, heading for the tyre barrier, but just pulls it around, and anytime soon, this is another shot of it. It's a big gravel trap there, luckily for him. Gets back on the racetrack, and anytime soon you're going to see the Jaguar of Eddie Irvine pointing, and that's Irvine off for yet another time, actually. That's a different spin from Irvine. He very nearly collected Michael Schumacher, and this is a Williams of Ralf Schumacher, who's recently just pitted, so everybody going off in 6 and 7.
Brilliant sunshine on the pit straight, lots of water on the racetrack. It must be Brazil. It's a crazy situation. David Coulthard leading on lap 54 from Michael Schumacher now by 15 seconds following that off-piste excursion by the Ferrari, the reigning championship leader at the moment. Frentzen is 3rd, his teammate Trulli is 4th. Nick Heidfeld going strongly for Sauber in 5th. And Lacey looking for Get Prost's first points of the 2001 championship, and their first points since 98. Look at Michael's car control though, well, or absence of it.
Yeah, that was a different, yet another overhead angle of that turn 6 incident. So Michael losing 2 seconds a lap as well, actually, to Coulthard. Coulthard driving beautifully up front. Hope he's not pushing too hard in these conditions. But remember, these Inters, Michael went for 30-odd laps on quite a dry track in Sepang, the last Grand Prix. They tend to hang on very well. That has got to be Räikkönen out of 9th. place. So Kimi Räikkönen out of the race. We don't know whether it's a mechanical failure or whether he simply dropped it somewhere, but well into the green fields there. I suspect he spun off somewhere.
Gone 10 races now since he last won a Grand Prix, David Coulthard. Is this going to be the end of that losing streak? And a big, big moment for Räikkönen.
That's the problem around here, James. It's just, you know, the racetrack is just such a mess, and you go off onto what should be a little grassy slide, and the next thing is you're heading into a rollover situation.
Nick Heidfeld.
Just as you're saying that, Frenson's off the road. Mechanical failure then for Frenson, our third place man. That puts Heidfeld, who's passed Trulli, not seen on the cameras, but Heidfeld was up into fourth, now will be third.
David Coulthard then comes across the start-finish line and wins the Brazilian Grand Prix. His first victory in Brazil, his first win for 10 Grand Prix, and second place will be Michael Schumacher, who led this race and who thought probably he had it in the bag, but he didn't. Nick Heidfeld does indeed finish on the podium for Sauber. It's been an extraordinary afternoon here. We're waiting for Olivier Panis, who's going to be fourth for British American Racing, ahead of Jarno Trulli, who will be fifth for Jordan, and Fisichella will get the final point for the Benetton team, which will give them an awful lot to smile about after a terrible, terrible first two Grand Prix. But the winner of this race, and look how happy he is, David Coulthard of Great Britain, wins the Brazilian Grand Prix.